now no longer run FTC by Lena Khan. It's somebody else. The FTC has lost. Now we're going to get into, is acquisition season back on the table? You see, the play, at least in my mind, is that game is, at least in my opinion, as big and potentially bigger than Call of Duty. If that was somehow an Xbox Game Pass, I got to be honest with you. I don't care where you game or what's your favorite brand or what's your favorite platform. You would find a way to subscribe to this service. It's that powerful of an IP. And that's where I'm kind of going to rest my hat on. I say that if you're going to go for something big, it's got to be something humongous. And Take-Two would be the play.
Alright everybody, welcome back to another Xvault Gaming video. Xvault here, and yes, this should conclude our main theme of the trilogy for the Gears of War Reloaded, basically remastered game that is indeed coming to the PlayStation 5. And of course, with all this news, just like we had with the opener and Mr. Boomstick there, the delusion is still high, and they think that there's a W there if they were to even remotely entertain obtaining someone of the likes of Take-Two. But that's just the tip of the saltberg here, if we will. So we got a lot more to go over here, folks. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to it. Alright, so like I said, what we're going to do is get right to this, kind of see how this is all unfolding in regards to more of the Xbox community, the fanboy, the communities, and of course the talking heads and shills and grifters of the Xbox community. So let's start off with somebody who's maybe been absent for an episode or two, Destin Legary, formerly of IGN fame, now doing his own thing. How is he doing now? Well, as you can see here, he has this rage bait post of trying to get the engagement. As you can see, I came prepared for this, and has the, cool shade glasses digitized on there, along with the PS5 Pro. So he purchased a PS5 Pro, and once again in the past he did mention, hey, I'm gonna have to do this. I don't want to wait for it to be on PC, because now, as you guessed, if you weren't following along, he is now a PC main player. And so in order to play GTA 6, not have the FOMO, which a lot of people are going to do, all those PC elitists out there that say they're not going to do the same thing, a lot of them are. Every single one? No, but a lot of them are. Now, I do want to state that, no, I'm not showing it at this point in time, but he did like a day or two later from this post here. He already said it's going to end up playing best GTA 6 on PC. Trying to get that dig back, trying to get his audience back, because I'm sure you do something as minuscule as this and trying to get that engagement farming, you naturally lose those sheep followers like that. So, of course, trying to get back in the good graces of that, of which is making him most popular and the most amount of money in super chats and donations. You gotta cater to that Xbox audience. You can't shift gears now, Destin. That's not how that works. If you do want to shift gears, it's going to take a major hit. And since you're relying on this to be your main source of income now that you're no longer with IGN, he's quickly backtracking and putting that dig. Well, it's going to be best on PC. The Xbox fanatics are okay with that. As long as it's a dig towards PlayStation, the Xbox fanatics are going to be handling that quite well. So it's just interesting how quick these shills and grifters, but they're not shills and grifters, I'm told. No, we only have all the evidence in the world, but let's continue on here. We got more to go over here. So the next one here, L. Renard. I believe we've featured him a few times here before, but he's stating, it's clever of Xbox to realize Forza Horizon 5 on PS5 and Xbox exclusivity for Horizon 6. The same goes for the Gears collection on PS5 and the Xbox exclusive Gears E-Day. So PS5 fans who want to try the sequel will have to switch to Xbox, but you haven't figured that out yet. Yes, this is, again, we're revisiting that Trojan horse idea, folks. We're revisiting the fact that this is an internal affair that's trying to entice. No, I could see that more so, and again, not fanboying, I can see that more so on the PlayStation side of things because they're releasing their games a year apart for the most part, over to the PC ecosystem when it comes to first-party single-player AAA exclusives. That's still the name of the game. Will that change in the future? I don't know. But as of now, that's how that works. Not, hey, we're going to release this stuff simultaneously and then entice you to be on this dying platform who we raised the prices on just recently before even Nintendo and PlayStation have done so due to tariffs and this, that, and the other. But yes, this is the miraculous brainiac idea coming from El Runard at this point in time. Do you see the delusion? Do you see the coping here? They're coming hard, and they're going through all those stages. But this one's quite the reach. But this is the narrative they've been trying to spin, probably footed because the first person I heard this from was King David, so he was the one footing the bill for this type of narrative, and of course the rest of the cronies are latching on, right? But let's keep going here. Now, Alex, he's back again. Oh no, it's Alex is back again. Man, he keeps stating if people stop making stupid posts and stuff, he wouldn't have to feature him on the channel. Same thing goes with Alex. Even though he sends his sheep on over to my channel to get all upset, or to me on social media all upset, again, don't be stupid. This is another prime example. And again, he'll switch that, move the goalpost. This is what I meant. This is actually what I mean. Blah, blah, blah. It's bullcrap. You're a grifter. You're a fraud. You're a shill. You get super chats for doing this sort of stuff. I'm not stupid. You're not stupid. I actually think you're very smart. But don't think I'm stupid because I see what you're doing. Everybody does. It's not just me. It's not me in some theoretical land here. But let's get to the point here. As you can see, watching this exact interaction today has been hilarious. Quotations, Xbox is dead, right? Then, of course, now watch me pre-order this Xbox game. Okay, again, like plenty of people have pointed out at this point in time, but I just wanted to bring it up before it got to be too old of a post. But what everybody means, and you've probably been told this multiple times already, what everybody means, I'm sure Astro will push this over to you and do that work for free if he's not gooning over somebody. It's simple, right? Xbox is dead as a hardware platform, as a dedicated console exclusive platform. That is no longer the way. We've gone over this multiple times on this channel. Game Pass was the end-all be-all. It didn't work out. They ended up not buying enough games. Hence why they're going over, a corporation going over, collecting that income from multiple platforms at this point in time. ABK and ZeniMax came with a hefty price tag. They want that money back. They are not selling the consoles that they expected to sell. Again, their fault due to that. So ultimately, no, we're not saying Xbox as an entity, as a game publisher, is dead. No, the hardware console version of this story is what is presumably dead. No longer going to be a thing going forward. We have these Xbox stickers on the, ROG Ally here. We have this supposed PC hybrid machine where if Steam's available on that, GG's even faster out of this race. It's done. It's over. They're a third-party, full-on publisher. Yes, PlayStation's a third-party publisher as well. But as far, again, they're waiting at least for those AAA first-party experiences to head over to the PC platforms. They are not at this time day and date. The live service games are day and date. That's what's happening. We're all aware of it. So again, I don't know what you're trying to watch here. I don't know what you're trying to insinuate that people are actually that idiotic to state. Yes, and I'm sure there are some out there that are saying that, but the vast majority when saying Xbox is dead, the relevance in regards to hardware and exclusivity for that hardware platform is gone. Hence the full push and move to third party, but again, shifting and grifting at its finest, essentially. This is exactly what it is, and you know what that relies on, and you know where your audience resides, hence making posts and idiotic and stupid posts like this. If somebody else in the other camp, such as Nintendo or PlayStation, made a stupid ass comment like this, you would be all over it in a heartbeat, would be in the next video. But it's off limits because it makes sense. And again, there's going to be a scapegoat. There's going to be an escape rope type of scenario where this makes sense in your mind and it's okay. But nah, anybody with a brain can see it. But let's move on. So, Get to the next example here. IMPA 90s. Only 4 games and the exclusivity strategy wasn't going to change. You should be ashamed if you've met liars. Met her liars. Xbox P3, Sarah Bond, Satya, all that stuff. So very upset about this, calling them liars. They are liars. I understand once again what's going on here. But as we continue on, Alejandro, same type of scenario here. Effing liars tagging Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond and Satya himself once again. Again, 2 folks calling them liars, very upset about the direction, and they are lying. They lied to you as a fan base. That's the thing. And again, corporations aren't going to be your friend. We've talked about this multiple times. They're not your friends. They're not going to do what's best for you. They're going to do what's best for them. So to believe any corporation, and again, this doesn't reside just to Xbox, but PlayStation and Nintendo as well, by the end of the day, at the end of the day, they are going to do what's best for business. What increases that income, that's what they're there for. So if you haven't learned your lesson, let this be a hard lesson to learn and move on from it and understand you need to take yourself first as far as accountability is concerned, as far as the direction of a corporation, and understand that they're not always going to have your best interest in hand. You need to do your research. You need to go that extra mile if you are that concerned. Where you're going to be pissed off if they're going to be liars. Because I'll tell you what, this isn't going to be the last time that Xbox figureheads are going to lie. This won't be the last time that the PlayStation and Nintendo figureheads are going to lie or skirt around the truth or pull the wool out, right? It just, you never know. Let it be a lesson learned. Let's continue here. So going on, Pluto Boy 85. Gears on PS5 feels so wrong. Sad to see what Satya and Phil Spencer have done, tagging them both. How many times are we just going to hit this nail on the head, folks? We went through the path just a bit ago on this video. Game Pass didn't work out. They went all in. You guys went all in on Game Pass for those that stayed in that ecosystem. And essentially, you didn't want to shift from that ecosystem for those of you that did buy in. And you're not buying those games. And not enough subscriptions have happened. And not enough sales have happened from software or hardware. Hence where we're at, Pluto Boy. So, yes, does it feel wrong? I'd feel the same way if Uncharted or something like that went over to Xbox. Of course, it doesn't feel natural. It's always been synonymous with that brand. I get it. But sad to see what they've done. Collectively, it's what everybody's done. The figureheads, the corporation, and the fans that bought into it and didn't think for yourselves and didn't listen to those of reason telling you what was supposed to happen or what would happen if things didn't hit the goals met and didn't hit the goals that were necessary. I didn't hear everybody wanting to buy in on Game Pass. I didn't. Just in real life, right? Outside of social media, talking friends, neighbors, strangers, in stores that happen to strike up conversations, whether you go on vacation somewhere. I never heard of Game Pass being so prominent of a thing that everybody was buying into that. The casuals, some of them bought into it. Some of the casuals, again, they're going to yearly buy COD regardless. They're going to yearly buy Madden and FIFA. They're going to do that sort of stuff. That's where the casual market resides. You're not going to get the casual market to buy in where a subscription service is already an oversaturated market, right? That's such an uphill battle. And I understand that it was a lot of work for Phil and company to try and make something happen. But that wasn't the direction I would have put my foot forward with right away. I mean, it's just, I just don't see it. I mean, the data had to have been out there. It was definitely a wish on the stars, a wish to the moon, whatever you want to say, and hope for the best, but that didn't happen. So again, Pluto, I kind of feel for you. It does feel wrong. It even feels surreal to me if I'm playing Gears on PlayStation, which I intend to do. It does feel odd, again, but let's keep going. Let's talk about Reaper here. He does have something to say. Damn the day you came up with that stupid idea of multi-platform support. The Xbox brand can go to HELL. I won't consume any more of your stuff and your next generation of consoles. Take it and shove it where the hell it fits. So, rightfully upset. Again, who's to blame, right? It's everybody's kind of to blame on this scenario, essentially. But he isn't going to be the only one. A lot of the casuals that did buy into the ecosystem, once they get more word of what's truly going on, because even so, not a lot of these casuals are sitting there on social media and utilizing YouTube or my channel or anybody else's channel and looking at this stuff all the time and being like, this is what's going on. Now I know, now I'm aware, and making an educated decision between all these different places. I can form my own opinion and make my own decision on what I want to do going forward. A lot of people are going to be blindsided by this because they don't keep up like this, right? A lot of the casuals just don't do that, and that's fine. They shouldn't. If you're a casual into a hobby, there's nothing wrong with that. There's casual fishers, there's casual bowlers, there's casuals in every hobby that we do, and it's okay not to be hardcore into a hobby, but that's kind of the other side of the ring here, right? You're just trying to take it all in, and when you get blindsided, you're done. You wash your hands, you're like, man, I got burned, I'm done. Then you do your research, and then you're like, oh, well, these are my options. This is probably what I'm going to head towards, right? Nintendo, PlayStation, PC, whatever the case is, if Xbox continues in this direction. So, again, I think this comment here does resonate quite a bit, but nonetheless, it is what it is. Let's keep going here. So, Dan, crikey, it's Dan. I wish the strategy from day one, once they decided to port the PlayStation and other systems, was our multiplayer experiences can go elsewhere because the larger player base can actually benefit Xbox players, but our single player experiences stay exclusive to Xbox and PC. So, Dan, interesting thought here. Isn't that kind of what PlayStation's kind of doing, right? Yes, as far as quality and ecosystem, and I truly believe in exclusives, and this isn't salty, this isn't anything of that sort that I'm like, hey, these games shouldn't go on PC because I don't want to share. No, I believe in exclusives, and exclusives to ecosystems builds more quality and value for that consumer investing into said ecosystem. The same would go for any exclusive on PC, for any exclusive on Nintendo, and of course, any exclusive that were and was residing on the Xbox ecosystem, right? I truly believe that Xbox messed up here. Big time. Obviously, that's why we do these videos. And once PlayStation, if they do this route too, eventually one day, because things just eventually move on and change and whatever the case is, when that day comes, it's going to suck. And I'm going to be right there to say that sucks as well. And we'll see how that future looks. But ultimately, if you can hold on to exclusives as long as possible, again, that makes what these ecosystems are to be made so special, right? That's what makes these so special. You as a consumer, you want a Nintendo Switch. Why is Nintendo Switch 2 selling? Because that's where you're going to get the next mainline Pokemon game. That's where you're going to get the next mainline Mario Kart game or Odyssey 2 or whatever the next Mario game or Legend of Zelda game is going to be. That's where you get these specialized experiences. And if you want it, you know you're getting that. You know what you're getting with that ecosystem. Same thing with PlayStation and their first-party games. Again, it's looking more and more likely that a year later, those or so will be landing on PC, which affects the ecosystem a bit, but not as bad as what would be happening if they were releasing those also on the Xbox platform, and Xbox was more of an entity of its own at this point in time, rather than a shell of its former self, essentially, by stating it's a third-party publisher full head-on, right? So again, you're wanting what PlayStation is essentially offering right now, or what Nintendo is essentially offering right now as far as exclusivity and as far as the quality of games. And again, I know some of you are probably out there on the Nintendo side of things being like, oh, Donkey Kong, the new Donkey Kong doesn't look like super leaps and bounds, but again, that's kind of limited to the hardware and specs there. I don't think that's necessarily the game's fault. It's still going to be good, still going to be fun. You can't knock it for that. I mean, Nintendo games are what they are. Most of them are adhered to as of top quality. Same with PlayStation first-party games for the most part, except for hence cough cough Concord, right? But let's keep going here. We got more. Leon Boone, Big Lee here. The Xbox brand completely collapsed under Phil Spencer, and it happened because he decided to push the consumer base to embrace renting games through Game Pass rather than buying them. It was never a sustainable idea, and it's unfortunate, but the cost of it now is Xbox's identity. Yep. I mean, this is exactly, I appreciate this comment. I mean, salty, yes, and venting their frustration here, yes. But hey, at least we have a comment of something I've been saying for years at this point. So, I mean, congratulations, we're making some headway here, folks. I do appreciate that. So I can't really say much more than that other than you're 100% right. Push the consumer base to embrace renting games. Right on. I mean, bullseye right here. So again, if you want to listen to these grifters and chills and thinking that was the way to go and that Xbox is still okay and let's make fun of PlayStation and Nintendo fans for exclusivity things and whatever, man, bullseye right here. Just from yours truly of Big Lee. So let's go on to our last example here before we make this too long here. We'll wrap up the trilogy. Of course, we'll go over more of that in just a moment. But again, we have Swaney Granda. Swaney G4, right? Phil Spencer had a record of lying with the Pinocchio nose here. His latest one was when he went third party to avoid price increases. Then you know what he did? And then, of course, tagging Sarah Bond, stating a big FU too there. So, again, yeah, used car salesman, right? We've been saying that for quite some time. That's what he's been doing. Yeah, he lied. He lied. And he said there'd be no price increases due to all this stuff, too. And then price increases. But to be fair, as far as the price increases stuff is concerning, that's due to tariffs and other inflation instigators there, right? It's just what's happening. It's going to follow suit to all ecosystems and platforms. So again, if you are planning to buy a different platform you do not own yet or you want to jump into, again, one of the probably last times I'm going to be able to say, because I don't know when this is going to make changes for the other platforms. So I'll PSA it as often as I can here until it does happen, but please pick up those systems before they do increase in price. Xbox has already had this officially in place. So their consoles, the Series S and X, are both increased in cost at this point in time, and well more than it should be. But again, we all know why, though, at this point in time. Tariffs and inflation, this, that, and the other. So probably a little out of their control. I'm sure the last thing they wanted to do was do that, because as hard as it was for them to move console sales at that point in time, they're not going to be moving any with that price increase any better, right? They're just not. And we'll see how this affects the ROG Ally with the Xbox sticker on there. Now you have the Xbox buttons on there, right? And again, this generation is more than likely going to be extended. Like I keep telling folks, whether it's on my live streams, whether it's on anything else of the videos, I keep stating recently that this generation is more than likely going to be extended. It will, because the next generation of consoles, I don't think folks are ready to spend $1,000 plus for a console. For a PC, they've already invested into that ecosystem. Maybe some of them wanted to build their own so they could get away with a decent performing PC with around $800 to $1,000. It's not going to be on par with what you're expecting. You're going to have to put in some serious money or get these parts and pieces at a great deal. If you know somebody or find things on sale, you're going to have to put in the work and the footwork. But as far as consoles and the casual market's concerned, they are not going to be ready anytime soon to be spending $1,000 plus for a next generation system. So we are probably going to be extending this generation. For good or bad, a lot of people are okay with that. Why are they okay with that? Because they don't want to spend that $1,000 plus for the next generation, or even another $800 plus for the next generation. And then there are some that are the tech fanatics like myself, that I love new technology. Let's get more stuff out. And as far as console plug and play, I'm ready to go. The sooner the better, in a way, as long as it's good enough, right? As far as a leap, right? It has to be a significant leap. It can't be just a minuscule leap. This isn't a mid-gen refresh we're talking about. We're talking about a full-on next-gen experience. It's got to have the bells and whistles and the power behind it enough to warrant that generation. But that being said, of course, we'll end up the video here. We'll wrap it up. And by the end of the day, just all the stuff. Be careful what you hear, what's being pushed, what goalposts are being moved, what shifts in the narrative are they speaking of right now. It's just all a bunch of bullcrap. If you do want the truth, like I usually state at the very, very end of my videos, do stick around on this channel, because I will be upfront with you, whether you're a PlayStation fan, Xbox fan, Nintendo fan, PC fan, whatever. I will be upfront, 100%. Just because I play PlayStation, I prefer PlayStation, that doesn't mean I'm going to sit there and lie to you about PlayStation, make it seem better than it is just because I want a one-up, or that the PlayStation fan base wants a one-up on the other ecosystems and platforms. That's not what I'm here. I'm here to have a little bit of fun with this salt. I'm here to spread the truth, right? I'm here to, and sorry, I'm all over the place with my tongue here. It's just the end of the night when I'm doing this one here, so I am losing my voice a little bit and a little tired from the weekend. But it's been a long thing. But anywho, with that being said, you know, again, I just want to be as upfront as possible, as truthful as possible with everybody, regardless. And you know that if you've been sticking around on this channel, you know I have not led anybody astray, and I do pride this channel and myself onto being that way. One way or the other, good news for PlayStation or bad news for PlayStation, good news or bad news on other platforms. I'm not going to sit there and beat around the bush and pretend things do or do not matter, depending on the news, right? So that being said, for sure, wrapping it up, I promise here. If you haven't already, definitely leave a like and comment down below. Would love to hear from you. Both those things do help out the algorithm, of course. Additionally, if you haven't already, definitely consider subscribing, helping out a small content creator like myself so we can grow, continue to spread the truth, and do more and more for this channel. Would love to do that. You guys have been amazing so far, so close to that 3,500 subscriber goal, so thank you all so much. Appreciate that. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and just remember, don't be a salty batch. And we'll see y'all next time on the next Xvault Gaming video. And until then, take care.